Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this debate of the second round of the Italian Jewish Debate Championship, which for the second time is hosting a tournament in English. This evening, we have two teams opponents. The team of the Debeatles from Campania, which will defend the pro position, and the team of Galilei-Pacinotti from Tuscany that will defend the opposition. Now I would like to invite the teams to introduce themselves and to specify the role of the single debaters. Starting from the pro team.
Hi everybody, my name is Eugenio Vollero and I will be the first proposition speaker.
Oh.
Hello everyone, my name is Simone Savarese. I will be sustaining the second speech, and if it's of any help, I'll be sustaining the reply as well.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Francesco Miele. I'll be the third speaker for the proposition team.
Okay. Now the opposition.
Good evening, everyone. I am Alessandra Esuli, and I will be the first speaker for the opposition team, and I will be doing the reply speech as well.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I am Nicole Bardelli, and I'll be doing the second speaker, and I'll be the second speaker of the opponent team.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening for everyone. I'm the opponent 3.
Okay, thank you very much. Now a question for the debaters. How would you like that the poise to be made? I think verbally.
Personally, I would like my POIs verbally, yes.
Verbally, okay. It's okay for everybody? Okay. And now I would like to invite the panel to introduce themselves. I'm Massimo Leone, and I will be the chair. And then?
Hi everyone, I'm Taya. I'll be a panelist in this debate. Wishing you all the best luck.
And then? The other judge? Giovanna?
Il microfono spento.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought it was on. Okay, hello everyone. I wish you a nice debate. I'm another panelist.
Okay. So I think that we are ready to start. Okay. It's okay for everyone. Are you ready? Good luck to everyone. And then we can give the floor to the first speaker of the pro team. Please.
Can you listen to me properly?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Imagine you're a girl or boy who just finished a debate. What have you learned from it? You learn to see the word in black and white, from win and lose, and from pro or con. You have not explored nuance, compromise, or messy reality behind complex problems that you have faced during the debate. Because side proposition cannot live in a world like this, we propose to today's motion. Good evening, everybody. My name is Eugenio, here today to take on the role of the first proposition speaker when it comes to the motion that we already have read before. You can expect few things from my speech. First, a general part of framing on today's motion. Second, I'll show our case with our 3 arguments. And thirdly, I'll develop the first substantive argument to our case. And first, starting with framing. What do we mean as debate? We mean as the debate as what we are doing now, a regulated discussion, maybe with times, for example, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, or any kind of time. And eventually, a debate is also something that is only supposed to lead you to win. You're doing debate in order to win, to not gain anything from it. And also women use less as something that eventually does not lead to actionable thing. So, but on framing, what is the problem that we are facing today and we are discussing today? The first problem in today's world is that we value more form rather than effective being something. We value more, in this case, rhetoric rather than consciousness, content, and the things that we are saying. Status quo addresses debate from performance and not actually learning something from it. Eventually, it is rather more formal than not something that you can gain something from, because it's programmed. And eventually, it is not something that values consciousness and eventually leads to valuing more form and rhetoric instead of learning something from it. Debate eventually affects the kind of stakeholders. And in today's debate, we are addressing three stakeholders mainly. First are the debaters, those who debate, and eventually they behave in things only for winning, and they analyze personal information in order to have more chance to win. Then we have judges, those who judge, and for the format of debate to go in, eventually they are asked to cancel all of their information, all of their learning, in order to judge the debate good. And then we have the audience, those who listen to the debate, and eventually those learn something from the information they have listened during the debate. And eventually the information are partial, as we're going to analyze in our arguments. Those information are partial, so we eventually cannot have real learning, even for the audience. But why does this problem happen? First, it is the format itself that is not structured in a way to value more rhetoric, not real consciousness, over real learning. And so why eventually this is a problem? Why all of this is a problem? What is impactful, and what are the implications in the status quo? First, partial information leads to no real content. Nothing is left from the boy. The debater eventually go on.
How did the proposition team get to the conclusion that the informations in debate are partial?
You have only an hour to prepare for your debate, and you have to eventually be pro or op, and you're going to opt from the information that are pro to your side. That's obvious. And so you choose partial information because this makes you win. You don't focus on truth. So we arrive to the conclusion that today we have big problem with debate. So we are going to show how debate eventually is useless through our team line. And the first argument is going to be about the rhetoric over real knowledge. Debate emphasizes rhetoric over real knowledge. The second argument, where debates tend to flow into oversimplification of concepts and to appeal eventually to a specific side. And the third and last argument, where debate fails to produce actionable outcomes. These two last arguments are going to be developed by Simone later in his speech. So passing on my first argument, we believe that debate emphasizes rhetoric over real knowledge, and we're going to show three mechanisms for that. The first, debaters are mostly students who project their action only for winning. They choose the argument only for winning. And second mechanism, judges are a clean slate. It matters only what is said by the debaters, not eventually what is true in real life. So on first claim, we believe that the debates puts rhetoric first because teenagers are mostly sensitive and emotively, and they tend to point out in their goal is to win eventually in everything, because they are teenagers. So even in debate, they are not going to choose between content and if they have to choose between content and win, they're going to choose to win. And what is the way to win? It is the rhetoric. It is to perform well during the debate. They don't really care about what is true and what is not. They have to select the information more useful for them. In this way, truth can never be achieved. Even more, students are often required to defend position assigned to them randomly. Even today, it is happening. Even if they know nothing about it, they have still to defend it, and eventually they are going to choose rhetoric in order to fulfill and to win the debate. I refuse. So it is clear a debater is going to choose rhetoric because it's the way to win a debate. So at the end of the day, no real consciousness, no real learning is going to be achieved. So, but on second claim, another mechanism. Judges are asked to be completely ignorant and to value eventually only what has been said during the debate. And why does this put form at first? It puts form at first form because if a team says, for example, something that is not true, the judge is not going to value whether this thing is true or not. It is going to value if the opposition or proposition, the opposite team says that it's not true. So it values only performance during a debate. And eventually it is asked to be a clean slate, to know nothing. So he cannot put his knowledge for the truth. And eventually just the system of the debate, think about the system of the debate is based on this, because the scores are given on style, strategy, and eventually contents. And if we value more contents than anything, the system of the debate values less than 0.5%, and it puts at the same level a more value strategy and style. So content is left apart. It's only as part of the score. And so the impact, it's obvious. The prioritization of our content over content and of rhetoric over real consciousness is that eventually it dilutes the meaning of learning something from it. So we believe for these reasons that it is useless, and we propose to do this motion. I arrest my case.
Okay. Thea, how long?
The speech was 8 minutes, 22 seconds.
Okay. If all the judges are ready, okay, we can give the floor to the first speaker of the opposition team, please.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Okay. My speech will start in 3, 2, 1, now. Good evening, judges. Good evening, fellow debaters. Tonight we are discussing a motion that involves all of us very deeply. We are debating of the very usefulness of debate. Today we are debating the motion this House considers debate useless. During the course of this debate, we will show you, we will prove you why the proposition team is wrong to say that. The proposition team has considered as stakeholders only the people involved in the single debating match, but we believe that debate can help both the people involved, but the whole of society. Everyone can benefit from a society that is used to debating. Also, I would like to point out that the proposition team has failed to give us definitions of what these motions means, so I will give them to you now. We have decided to give definition for the word useless, and that means that it brings no good thing. It is of no use for anyone. And we have also decided to give a definition for the word debate, which is a discussion that happens in a civilized way, and we will expand on the meaning of debate in the framing for this motion. We will be focusing on debate mainly from the organized debate, such as the one that we are having tonight, but we will not be excluding the other forms of debate that can happen. So we will be focusing on a bit broader meaning of debate. Before I start with my team line and the arguments, I would like to rebut what the proposition team has said so far. They said that debating doesn't involve nuance, compromise, and is just seeing the world in black and white. But I ask you, judges and fellow debaters, when did you have a debate in this context that was just black or white? I believe that in most debates, the two parts, the opposition and the proposition, actually tend to go towards each other and maybe seeing the emotion in different ways, and they do not remain fixed on just one way of seeing the emotion. So we believe that there is, in fact, nuance in debating. They also say that debating is done only to win and not to learn, and that debating puts rhetoric over real knowledge. I ask you, does learning rhetoric not count as knowledge? I believe that through debate, one can learn the art of rhetoric. One can learn about the logic fallacies, many other things. And yes, the kind of information that is brought to the debate is important, and we will cover that. But also, learning... Is that a POI?
Yes.
I accept.
So you're saying that eventually the only consciousness, only learning you're gaining from a debate is the rhetoric one, nothing from information and real consciousness and real learning?
I did not say that. I will say that we will cover this later. Yes, we also believe that one can learn other types of knowledge through debating. I will now go on. Real learning, they say that no real learning is achieved. Learning rhetoric is real learning. Debating gives you a tool to go through life, to then later expand and be able to present your opinions, and that's thanks to debate and thanks to learning rhetorics. It is a type of learning and it is useful. They say that in debating, when preparing a motion, one only considers partial information because we have only an hour. I would like to make a puntualization on this, because when you have only an hour, one mainly focuses on thinking and argumenting the motion, whereas you mainly focus on getting information when the motion is prepared with weeks in advance. So, and in that case, you do go to check on the different sources, and you do make sure that the sources are, I accept.
Are you aware of the fact that even in the question you formulate to, for example, Google or any type of research is eventually partial and will give you a result in general from a side pro or opposition?
I don't know how your team conducts their researches, but when one is truly interested in a motion and wants to do it as best they can, I'm sure that people verify their sources and try their best to get the best information as possible. Now that I'm done with the rebuttal, I will briefly, I refuse. I will briefly tell you about our team line. We will show you why considering the debate useless is wrong, and we will use 2 points to do that. The first argument is that debate has a huge impact on society, and the second argument that Nicole will be bringing is that debate can help people in their lives. It can give them a tool, it can give them skills, and it can also build communities. I will now go on to telling you about our first argument, and that is why we believe that debate is in fact useful, because it has a big impact on society. Debating helps build a society full of respectful and cultured people. A society can greatly benefit from people who have been taught how to debate and who know how to say their opinion in a respectful manner. I will also tell you that politics right now are at the base of modern society, and the debates help form politicians who will know how to express opinions clearly and respectfully. It creates a society of thoughtful people that are used to express their opinion, that those people know that the way they can get their arguments through is not through censoring, is not through talking over other people like you will do in an argument, in a discussion, is through listening and to make your opinions count based on how you say them. We also believe that debating can greatly help and is already helping the freedom of speech. Because, as I said, both for the person who talks and for the person who debates with the other, they learn that listening is also a very important part of debating. And when we debate here, a great part of what we do is listening to the other team and taking notes. So this is also very important. And also, we believe that through debating, one can learn new things and gain knowledge as well as skills. And that is better for the whole society, as we believe that it can lead to more justice, because everyone can defend their rights and their opinion through both knowing stuff, both knowing information and knowing rhetorics. This is why the team opposition believes that debate is deeply useful to our society. Thank you for listening. I am finished.
Thank you. Your speech was 8 minutes 15.
If the other judges are ready, we can give the floor to the second speaker of the pro team, please.
All right, then. So my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. In this debate, we're actively trying to form our youth. As our first speaker said, we firmly believe that debate is useless because it holds the people back behind rhetoric, favoring that over the objective truth. Good evening, everyone. My name is Simone Savarese, here today to take on the second speech for when it comes to the proposition side of the motion that has been stated beforehand. Now, you will expect a few things from my speech. Two main things. One being a general refutation of what has been said by the opposition team, and an introduction of what are my main two substantive arguments. I would first like to go on with a general refutation of what has been said, because they've stated some pretty appalling things that inherently attack our line. First of all, they simply stated that the definitions in our main line have not been given in any case, but the definitions have been given. We've defined debate as a formal discussion centered in a split between proposition and opposition, and even then, we stated the definition of the word useless, because we define the word useless in this case of no real importance, because it does not produce real, genuine, actionable change. We have given the decisions and we have stated them clearly. Another thing that they decided to state is that knowledge is inherently earned through the use of debate itself. And while it's learned extremely temporarily, the knowledge remains one-sided. This conditioning makes people inherently change their beliefs simply because of a motion they decided to debate. Go ahead.
Can you define what you mean by saying that knowledge remains one-sided?
Knowledge remains one-sided because you're more pressing on a singular side of a motion. If you're a proposition speaker, you're going to appeal to things that talk about the proposition. If you're an opposition speaker, you're going to appeal to things that talk strictly about things that favor the opposition. You're not going to get the whole picture. You're only going to point on what favors your person. You also stated that debate is useful because it has, I'm sorry, I refuse. This debate is useful because it has a big impact on society. You stated that it's designed to build a society built on respectful debate, but this respectful debate in no case, shape, or form has been ascertained and guaranteed. Because in many cases, we've identified cases of disrespectful debates taken on to sustain, even then, extremely controversial points. Another point that they're stated is that at the end of the day, you're proving our point, because if one of the many things that you try to gain from debate is rhetoric, you tend to strive away from learning the truth. You tend to twist words of other people so they can appeal to your single opinion. We are trying to appeal for more justice, but if you give a tool to someone, you have to see how they use it. If you give critical thinking to a person and you develop that through debate, you have to ascertain that person is going to use that in an actionable manner, a manner that produces genuine change in society, which is something that the opposition tried to provide in their speeches, but definitely did not manage in any way, shape, or form. Which links me straight back into the main arguments that I will try to bring during this speech. Because debate often tends to flow into the oversimplification of concepts, even then to appeal to a specific side. Because the only truly identifiable goal of debate, even then, the opposition stated this, that it's supposed to be the acquisition of information that helps someone better understand an issue. But this educational goal collapses in on itself once we recognize how debate formats tend to inherently oversimplify complex topics just to make them fit by forcing a strict pro or against structure, which ignores full nuance, ignores subtlety. It teaches students to only see black and white instead of a full spectrum of perspectives, and it fails to prepare people to the real world. A topic that might require historical context, like collecting data sets, cultural analysis, and in general ethical subtleties, and anything that has to be identified in its specifics, has to be compressed into a single line of argument that can be delivered quickly in only an 8-minute speech. The format forces these participants to compress their realities and to distill complicated realities into simple and short speeches and find solutions to inherently extremely nuanced and complex issues in a time frame that simply does not fit the complexity. It rewards the ability to package ideas in some sort of sharp, digestible form, rather than focusing on a full complexity view. Debaters learn to strip away nuance, because nuance, in this case, just takes time to explain, and time is something that debate formats, especially WSD, aggressively restrict. With rigid speech limits, participants are forced into highlighting only the most clean, persuasive angles of their case, completely trying to avoid the nuance that is in it that could, in some way or another, favor the opposition. Go right ahead.
Isn't learning what the main points of an argument, what the highlights are, a skill itself?
Yes, but it devolves from being a skill when you only appeal to the worldview you're trying to interpret for the debate. If you're trying to be a proposition speaker, you're only going to appeal to things that favor the proposition. You're never going to provide a source that favors the opposition and not yourself. In debate, in this case, incentivizes oversimplification. It doesn't encourage deep, multifaceted understanding, and it encourages the selection of those pieces of information that can be weaponized in, again, a very short speech. In the end, just debate doesn't broaden understanding. It compresses it. It forces participants to treat nuanced issues as if they were simple, clean, and one-sided. The educational value, in this case, is completely diminished, thus rendering it useless, not because participants are unwilling to learn, but because the structure of debate itself prevents people from learning it. This leads me straight up into my second argument, because debate, in this case, fails to produce any kind of actionable outcome. I'm sorry, I refuse.
Yeah.
I refuse. Because debate formats, whether they are competitive rounds, any kind of timed speech, or adjudicated beliefs, tend to treat the outcome as a judgment of performance, not as an administrative decision that treats obligations, budgets, and policies, because there's no built-in mechanism to change that. there's an inherent reason as to why debates are not decision-making processes. Is because debate rules prioritize adjudications. It's at its core, because if they don't want to implement outcomes, they just want to stimulate critical thinking. Debate rules prioritize adjudications because debate is designed as a pedagogical / performative and contest format rather than something designed to provide actionable change. And even then, it doesn't excel as an integrative form of learning because of the reasons I mentioned before. We need authority to perform these kinds of actions, because without authority, there's going to be no mechanism to bring and allocate funds, assign responsibilities, or enforce compliance in any kinds of matter that even remotely rely to the motion and analysis. This lack of allocation is extremely important. It has a huge impact because even a brilliant idea needs people, needs money behind it. It needs formal assignment to move from claim to genuine implementation. So we believe that this kind of debate is completely useless as it doesn't lead to any form of actionable change. Debate stops at adjudication, it stops at applause, and it fails to produce the concrete steps required to change reality. While academic debate can enhance some skills like critical thinking, and we can see that, its structure is extremely limited. The traditional competitive format emphasizes winning over understanding and encourages participants to synthesize viewpoints or navigate complex real-world problems in an extremely not nuanced manner, which is why we urge the jury to vote for the proposition team. Thank you all for listening. I rest my case.
Thank you for your speech. It was 8 minutes, 18 seconds.
Okay. Are the other judges ready? Okay. Then we can give the floor to the second speaker of the opposition. Please.
Okay, I'm starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, I am going to answer and partially rebut on what the proposition said, as they said that according to them, it's useless for the single person. Debate is useless for the single person. To us, the opposition, it's not true, because we think that it gives self-esteem that is really important for also the world of work, the future. For example, if someone wants to become a lawyer or simply wants to state their opinion, they have to sound and look convinced of what they say, and they cannot look and act otherwise. Otherwise, the person in front of them could think that they're lying. And also, self-esteem is really important for people that are growing up and that should learn that they are people that have to that should have respect for themselves first, that they don't come later. Second of all, it teaches people to see other people's opinions, because, like Alessandra said, the great part of a debate is listening to the other people, part of our teams, part of also the team that are part of the opponents. So we needed to listen to each other, and that is from when the complexity comes in, because you're right. There is the black and white in the debate, but you see the full picture only when you debate, when you listen and understand and, let's say, mix up in your head what the opponent is saying and what you are saying. That makes a more complex view, because it doesn't mean that the point of view that you're representing in that moment is the right one. And so you can learn something also from your adversary, let's say. Also, we'd like to point out that it generally makes people more open-minded and generally polite, because we are all learning from each other, learning maybe new stuff, maybe stuff that we already knew. We're sharing it with each other, and we are getting to a point, and we are all being educated also because there are the judges that are taking care of that part. We never, let's say, attacked each other verbally, so it's a contained share of different opinions. But the point is exactly that they should be different. Like I said before, like a lawyer, we have two sides in a courtroom. We have two sides here. It doesn't mean that one is all right, one is all wrong. The truth is always in the middle, but you make the truth after, when you think about it as a person, not as a debater. Then we also brought up that it creates a sense of community, because together as a team, the opposition is a team, and we didn't know each other before, and we got to know each other, and so we share all together a sense of community. We are debaters together, and we are friends out of this. And we also share some views that aren't necessarily black or white. And I think that we think that the world isn't black or white, and so isn't debate. And it's kind of wrong trying to paint it this way, because we always had, also in society, like we always have two sides, because we should always have also in politics. We always have two extremes, but the extremes aren't right. There are more moderate views that are right and are more similar to the gray, let's say, that is the world. Black or white is wrong, because the world is often a bit blurred, and we should learn to act
Why?
according to that. Okay, go on.
Sorry, are you aware of the fact that you are counterintuitively yourself, because you first say that debate is black and white, then you're not. So what is the truth? You're effectively contradicting yourself.
I said that I'm let's say rebutting what you said. You said that debate is black and white, and debate is showing you the black and white of things, like with the motion. But it doesn't mean that if I'm the debater of the opposition team, that I'm going to stick with that thought from, let's say, from the opposition team all my life. I'm also listening to the proposition, and I'm learning from the proposition. And as a debate, as not only as a debater, but as a person, I'm going to take with me what I learned as a person, not only as a debater. because we distinguished debater. Let's say let's look at this as a job, and the single person that can learn something from their job, from what they're doing. I finished. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Nicole. Your speech was 7 minutes 41 seconds.
Are we ready to go on? Okay. So the floor is of the first speaker of the pro team.
Okay. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everyone. I'm Francesco Miele from Liceo Calciopoli, Naples, here today as the third speaker for the proposition team for the motion that states this House considers debate useless. My role is to reinforce our case by addressing what has been said, highlighting the inconsistencies, and demonstrating why our arguments stand stronger. Now, there were many points of clash in this debate that we have to analyze, especially on what was the true essence of what is truly a debate. The first thing was the definition of the word useless that they said many times that wasn't portrayed by us. Now, let's analyze one thing. The definition of useless is of no real importance because it does not produce actionable change. The definitions were just given. They was just not really listening to what was our real argument. The definition have been given, and we've defined debate as what it truly is, a mess. Now, another thing that we have talked about is the nuance. We have to be extremely careful with this because, but extremely partial as that, thus it is an insulting the real definition of nuance as they used it in their arguments. They didn't really provide what does it truly mean for our debate in this case. Now, another important thing and point is that knowledge is earned through debating.
POI.
I refuse the POI. While in this case, learn extremely temporarily the knowledge is extremely one-sided, often conditioning people inherently on their beliefs simply because of the motion they debated. It is not a true truth that we can rely on. Now, another important thing was that, as Eugenio in a POI said, are you really saying that the only learning in this case is rhetoric? Debate is useful because it has a big impact on society, they said, but it is designed to build a society, in this case, not truly on facts. Nothing in this case will ever lead to a respectful debate. This isn't guaranteed. It provides just a rhetoric knowledge to people, not a real change for our society. We, in this case, take notes that somehow instills a change in society as they think, but it is not true. That is not something that we can just rely on. Now, are you really aware of the fact that even researchers are partial if you find them online on a debate? You just can't rely on this type of knowledge and say that the society is getting better. You know the position, even if you know the position many weeks before, you just use the knowledge to your favor. Now, they said that politics are the base of society and debates help to form politicians. They know to express their opinion. Well, then, if they portray the statistics that showed how many people that did debate will actually become politicians, we will even believe them. But it was just a lack of evidence. That was not even true. It was just something that came out of their heads just to throw an argument in their case. Now, they even talked about more justice, but if you give a tool to someone, you have to see how they use it. And in this case, the tool is rhetoric, which is fundamental to know the use of because it can become really dangerous. Now, they even said that even finding the right things for your side is, in this case, a skill. Well, even if this would have to be true, this is completely wrong because it gives a dangerous tool to people, as I already said, because they are going to learn how to manipulate information. In this way, their side of the house is telling us that they prefer this kind of skill over just an essential true knowledge that everyone can rely on. Now, they even talked about self-esteem. So, but in this case, self-esteem isn't even correlated because they just learn how to manipulate this kind of information. And they even talked about they even agree with us on the vision of black and white, which is just a restrained vision of our reality. We are just pros and cons in our society. I refuse the PI. In this case, we have to realize that there are gray areas. There are so many colors or of shades that we have to analyze and that we live in. It's not just this kind of case. We don't really learn how to have critical skills in our real society. And even the sense of community, on what basis even we can create a community? This isn't really something that was portrayed with an evidence. It was just something thrown to show how, in this case, the debate has even a good side effect, which it just doesn't have. Now, let's understand one big thing. We demonstrated that the debate prioritizes winning over real understanding. And this is supported by the way students are forced to argue assigned positions without sufficient knowledge, relying on style and persuasion rather than truth. And by the fact that debate formats compresses it doesn't really understand the complexity of our reality. In this case, nuance issues into simplistic pro or con arguments that fail to produce actionable outcomes on our real or do not have a real impact. Now, their main argument was based on the role of rhetoric and the fact that we have to understand the big picture of the debate. But we have to understand that this kind of debate doesn't even have a real impact on what is the real life. Doesn't change what will be the outcome of what will be our future. We are just stuck in this kind of argument that we repeat for several times without leading to an actual change. So, we have systematically shown and dismantled why the opposing team's claims while reinforcing our own position. We have demonstrated that debate prioritizes winning over genuine understanding and forcing students to defend position that they may not even believe in, and rewarding style over this kind of substance. We have also shown that debate oversimplifies complex issues into a strict pro or con format, which, ignoring nuance, compromise, and in this case, multi-phase nature of real-world problems. Furthermore, it fails to produce actionable outcomes in our society, leaving participants with skills confined to a classroom rather than than skills applicable in society. By highlighting this point, we have proven that our argument that debate is largely useless in preparing students for meaningful real-world problem solving is stronger and better supported in this debate. And with that, I conclude my speech.
Thank you for your speech. It was 7 minutes 31.
Okay. Okay, then we are ready to give the floor to the third speaker of the opposition team. Please.
Evening, everyone. I'm Alessia Boschi, and I'm the opponent 3 of the Liceo Classico team. And first thing, I have to refute something that the proposition said. The first one was that the only goal of the debate is to win or to lose, and they said that it makes you think so black and white. And I don't really agree with that because I think that seeing things in black and white means that literally you can see anything else. And I think that they focused a lot on the preparation of the debate and not actually on the debate. In fact, while you debate, it made you consider everything. I listened to what they said and I considered it. So I think that saying that is all black and white is not a right quote because you have to understand everything that the proposition says. This Go ahead.
Where does actionable change rely on following your model?
Sorry, can you repeat? Because I
How do you
haven't-
provide actionable change by using a debate using your model?
I'm going to explain later. I'm going first to refute everything you said that I listened to it, and then I will answer your question. You said that you learn something, but it's partial. And I repeat myself. It's something partial because you're thinking about the preparation of the debate. The actual changes are made while someone is debating, not when someone is preparing it. In fact, when you debate, you consider everything, every aspect, and you try to find a solution to a problem, or generally be more conscious about the point that or the motion that there is. So I think that knowing every aspect of an argument can, on a point and emotion, can actually lead to an actual change. And the actual change can be also with personal development, as we said, because when you get out of your comfort zone by doing a debate, you are doing a change. So the change can be everywhere in a debate. So we said also that you change your perspective, your point of view, because you learn how to respect others, and it's not an easy thing to do. And you said that also debate can be short, and an information can be told in only 8 minutes. And the goal of the debate isn't the divulgation. But I think that if you consider a debate the only 8 minutes that you talk, you consider it like only your point of view. Because when you debate, you have to listen to everyone, and the debate is the whole hour, the whole people that talks and respond each other. It's not only that 8 minutes. So thinking like this, I think it can be.
Why?
Yeah.
Even if you think of the debate as the whole hour, you're still going to think in the only way, in the only direction way, because you're still even in computation, think about the things that you have to write and in order to win. So even if you think of that area, it's still one directed.
Yeah, in fact, I think that debate is not only winning or losing. Debate is talking, because either I lose or I win, I will be always happy because I learn new things. And you said that when you debate and you prepare a debate, you only learn the things that are useful for you to win. But it's not like that, because when I choose the information that I want to provide in a debate, I consider every information, every piece of information, and then I choose only the ones that are useful for me. So I think that learning is the process of considering everything, and also I refuse. Going ahead, I have to refute also that you said that debate make you learn how to manipulate information. Yes, I agree, but is a positive thing actually, because if you know how to manipulate an information, you can sell something. In fact, as Nicole said, the debate helps also with personal development and your career. In fact, if in the future you have to sell something that you don't really like or you don't really have an idea, okay, go ahead.
So you are evaluating more form rather than truth. You're putting, more importantly, form than truth. Please engage with that.
Sorry, can you repeat?
You're saying you're putting first form, rhetoric, but you're not putting on the same level truth. That is the important thing. Please engage with that.
Yes, I'm saying that rhetoric is very important, because even if you don't actually have an idea on the motion that that has been proposed, or you have a negative idea about it and you don't agree with the motion and what you have to stand by, is either a positive thing, because you learn to sell something that you don't like and you don't really have an idea about it. Then I'm going to reconstruct our points. As Alessandra said, the debate has a positive impact on all the society, because it helps to build a society that is more thoughtful, and I think is the most important thing, because it helps to be more calm in decision making and also to prevent violence, because if people learn how to argument and how to debate without being angry all times, you can prevent this type of a negative situation. Then we said also that in political aspect can be nice to the debate, because the debate helps the politician to find a way of finding something that is really useful for their country. So going ahead, I will say that as Nicole said, that debate is very useful for public speaking, for the career, and understanding a different point of view. Because for us, listening to others and not only caring about win or losing is the most important aspect of debate, because you learn how to speak in English, how to express yourself, and winning or losing is not something that is necessary because you learn either way if you lose or you win. So I think it's not a right point to say that winning or losing is the only thing, because you said that debate should be more practical and should end with natural change and a real change. But the real change is the mentality that we need to have. So, reconstructing what I said, debate isn't useless at all, and I clearly believe that it can be imperfect but not useless. This is the end.
Thank you. Your speech was 10 minutes, 20 seconds.
Okay. So the constructive part of the debate is ended, and now we conclude the debate with the two reply speech, starting from the opposition team. Please.
Thank you. My speech will start in 3, 2, 1, now. Good evening, judges and fellow debaters. We have almost reached a conclusion to this very interesting and exhaustive debate of on the motion this House considers debate useless. First of all, I would like to compliment all of you for the points you have brought to us, and I will now go on to summarize what has been said during this debate. We have touched lots of important points, and from what useful means to the definitions, to the skills and one can learn and the impact that debate has. And I will now go on to explain what the point of clash have been during this debate. First of all, I think the most important thing that we have talked about during this debate is the concept of the full picture. The proposition team has based their arguments on the idea that through debating one cannot achieve knowledge and cannot achieve the full picture. As the opposition team, we believe that this is not true, as if even because through listening to the whole debate, by preparing it and then listening to what the opponents have to say, one will reach that full picture that the proposition team is talking about. In fact, as Alessia said, the opposition team believes that debate is not only the 8 minutes one has to talk, it is the whole process of debating, from the preparation you have, the coaching, the actual debate, and then the feedbacks and the whole community that gets built around the debate and the competitions. So we believe that through preparation and then through listening to the opponents and through feedback, one will achieve the full picture and the knowledge the proposition team is talking about. The second point we have talked about is the usefulness of the skills that one can learn through debating. The proposition team has talked about how through debating one only learns rhetoric and one only learns how to give form to what you're saying. And as the opposition team, we completely agree with that. Also, we think that one also learns other type of knowledge and information. And so we believe that the rhetoric, the form, are in fact useful. So that makes debate useful. And we have also talked about the presence, whether or not there is a sort of nuance in debating. The opposition team believes there is, because through our experience and through the idea that we have of debating as a complex discipline, we believe that during a debate, one touches many points that go far the proposition and the opposition. You can talk about different topics, use them for examples, so one goes past the black and the white, and you actually get, you learn a lot through debating. I will conclude my speech by saying that if we have reached a verdict tonight, if you have learned that debate is completely useless and you want to leave this discipline, or whether you now believe in it more and you will dedicate yourself more to it, it is for a reason and one reason only. We have debated this motion. Thank you very much. I'm done with my speech.
Thank you. Your reply speech was 4 minutes 22.
Okay. When the judges are ready, we are able to conclude all the debate with the reply speech of the proposition team. Please.
So my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everyone. My name is Simone Savarese, here today to take on the reply speech for when it comes to the motion that has been stated beforehand. Now, as a reply speaker, you will expect a few things from me, mainly the identification of the main points of clash that have been mentioned in this debate. But before doing that, I would love to go first and foremost to analyze some strategic inconsistencies that I've spotted inside of the argumentations of the opposing team. Mainly the fact that they were going back and forth between the black and white point after effectively conceding it on their second speech. Even then, their version of inherent change in society devolves to the concept of education. It doesn't push on more important societal issues. And an extremely important point is that they failed to account for their burden, which is to identify that debate is useful, and where we define usefulness as the ability to provide actionable change. You didn't engage in any way, shape, or form with that definition, instead pushing on how it's useful for students and useful on how to identify useful on how to identify inconsistencies and reasonings. And not only did we fill in that cog for you during our argumentative portion and managed to refute it, we also brought an extensive mechanization on how it's extremely rare, if not impossible, for structured debate, as we're doing it right now, to bring genuine and actionable change to society, which effectively leads me to the first point of clash that we've identified, being the actionability of debate itself. Because our side states that debate is useless because it doesn't produce actionable change. Even at its highest levels, it rewards some kind of persuasion over practical solution and isolates argument in their own vacuum without applying them to the real world. While their side says that debate inherently brings deep-rooted change in society. We win this because even if debate in some cases raises awareness, it doesn't equip participants to implement these solutions. These arguments alone don't change policy, society, or any underlying structures of issues. While they may teach students to critically identify inconsistencies in reasoning, they can't identify a new law, which is exactly what we're pressing over. The second clash we've identified is the usefulness of debate because of its learning use. We believe that debate is an effective learning tool because it polarizes students to defend a singular side, encouraging even then the black and white thinking that they've conceded to us, while they stated multiple times that it's important to learning because it teaches critical thinking and public speaking. Even then, they decided to weigh that preparation is the only part of the debate where you're required to be polarized. So debate isn't entirely polarized, but let's be clear with ourselves, 90% of the work that you're putting in a debate is in the preparation. So you're required to be polarized 90% of the time. The remaining 10% is actually speaking it. You're weighing the thing wrong. You have to be polarized for most of the time while only trying to account for the opposing side 10%, which is why we win this clash. Students are trained in this case to cherry pick information and simplify complex issues to make them more palatable, which is why we just won this clash inherently. Our side also states in a third clash that revolves around oversimplification and time constraints that it oversimplifies complex issues due to rigid time limits, while their side states that time limits are completely unimportant and push quick thinkings. But we win because clarity at the expense of accuracy is not real learning. We don't want our students to learn through trial and error. We don't want them to compress issues into sound bites, which is why we win this clash. We've identified two worlds in this debate, the world of actionable change and the world of genuinely expendable discussion. In their world, it genuinely does not in any way produce actionable insight. It doesn't produce deep learning. It doesn't produce societal change because their structured argumentation fails to engage as it's polarized. We make them live in a world of polarized thinkers with shallow understanding and performative argumentation, which favors quality over the quality of the speech itself over the contents. While in our world, this produces actionable insight, deep learning, and societal change through some kind of structured argumentation that isn't the form of debate. Their world trains people to win arguments, not understand issues. Knowledge is curated to fit a side, and real-world applicability is minimal. In this case, we want to end the debate where the judges choose a world where knowledge is actionable, nuanced, and prepares people for real-world problem solving, which is why we urge the jury to vote for the proposition team. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Your speech was 4 minutes 26.
Okay. Congratulations to all debate.
Thank you.
And now you wait here, and we will return in a short time with considering the hour with the result of the debate. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, see you later.
Dai,
ragazzi,
è
abbiamo
andata,
spaccato.
Mamma
mia. Siete fortissimi.
Aspetta, è registrata
No, non l'hanno fermata la registrazione.
Purtroppo
Possiamo
no,
insultare i
continua.
No, non possiamo nemmeno fermarla noi.
No, ma che... Oh, no, ragazzi, alle 7:30 è illegale.
No, davvero.
No, allora io devo chiedere una cosa. Io sono seria. Come stracazzo fate a parlare così veloce?
Ma io
No,
non
io
le
sono...
domande che mi fate, cioè
sembra
le
ascoltare un audio in inglese su YouTube a velocità per 4, non per 2, per 2 è più lento.
Quei tipi di audio che trovi sul libro d'inglese che fanno cacare, sì, quella roba.
Sì,
alla stazione dei
esattamente.
treni l'annuncio.
Comunque no, è una cosa che si impara solamente parlando, cioè
No,
per
ecco
forza
perché...
si deve imparare
No,
per
ora ho
inerzia.
capito perché
Voi da
te sei uno
quant'è
di quelli
che
che parla
dibattete?
veloce pure in
E
italiano.
io da un anno.
Si
Anch'io.
sente.
Ah, figo.
Dai.
Io il secondo. Però si vede che avete esperienza.
Aperte e chiusa parentesi, penso che vado a mangiare perché veramente ho una fame che è impossibile.
No, ma io mi devo...
Io mi sono
cenato
schierata
prima.
di tavola, tipo, mi sono seduta ai 15 e mi sono alzata ai 25.
Ah, ottimo.
No, ma io penso non mi funzionino più i neuroni, cioè è una questione di principio.
Sì, vabbè, mi è mai funzionati, vado pure a mangiare, dai.
Ma ti picchio, non... Fra, quando ho voluto bere prima della mia argomentazione ho bagnato tutto a terra, sono un disastro.
Ma ci hanno abbandonato. Vabbè, dai, bimbe, non è andata male. Cioè, dibattere in tre è effettivamente molto più figo, mi piace.
Io mi sono impanicata.
Ma guarda che posso dirti che per essere la prima volta sei andata molto molto bene. Cioè, se non fosse stato per il tempo hai fatto veramente una buona cosa. Cioè, dai.
No, infatti, cioè, io mi ricordo la prima volta mi bloccavo così, tipo...
Al tempo ho sbagliato,
E ora?
ho guardato l'orario e me lo sono ricordato male.
Ma infatti, momento di istruttivo, la YTN Halves, questa app qua, perché la professoressa tipo ci ha detto mettete l'app, no, fa schifo. Cioè, ci sono i timer e c'è tipo tutta la linea degli speaker con i timer giusti, quindi tu la segui e ti dice quando fare. Poi vi rimando il link sulla chat perché funziona.
No, ma
No, ma
io ci vedo.
fondamentalmente consiglio di utilizzare direttamente l'app dell'orologio perché cioè, io ho già provato altre app, ma si blocca sempre tipo verso 1 minuto e mezzo dalla fine, non sai quanto puoi fare più il PI per quello.
Boh, a me per me funziona perché non la devo guardare, cioè mi fa bling bling quando devo smettere di parlare, io smetto di parlare, cioè.
Vabbè, dai, poi
Però dai, abbiamo fatto dibattiti peggiori. Comunque anche te, Nicole, rispetto alla scorsa volta sei migliorata un casino. Cioè,
La strategia.
meno male domani entro alle 9,
brava. Perché?
perché manca il prof.
Beati voi. Io dalle 8 alle 9 ho l'assemblea d'istituto, quindi.
A parte
Io
che
domani in sciopero dal letto.
c'è sciopero poi domani,
Ma secondo me
Infatti
non
io faccio
aderiscono molti.
ragazzi, io sto scioperando dal letto. Quello
Il
è,
modo
è
giusto di
il
manifestare.
next level sciopero.
Quindi se volete andare a mangiare anche voi, poi faccio sapere quando rientrano i giudici
Ma
e vi
se, ma che
ricollegate.
mangio? Io dovevo mangiare prima, ora non mangio più.
No,
Ho
io
mangiato
mangio
tipo
dopo.
un mazzo di qualcosa e sono venuta dei disgraziati. Il prossimo è mettere il debate alle 7:30, non ci vengo.
No, scusami, ma molto meglio. Hai avuto tutto il pomeriggio per studiare e fare la roba di scuola, se no ti bruciavi mezzo pomeriggio di studio, onestamente.
Ma te con chi stai parlando in questo momento?
Con chiunque mi vuole ascoltare. No, io onestamente oggi pomeriggio ho studiato un casino, cioè.
Io oggi pomeriggio
Grande.
ho realizzato che dovevo fare tipo una tesina, nemmeno una motion, una tesina praticamente di 40 pagine che tra 5 giorni la devo
Ina,
consegnare e l'ho scoperto stamani.
complimenti. Ma la devi fare te da sola, non hai nessuno che ti dà una mano.
Sì, il problema è che è talmente complicata che deve essere tutta con un filo logico, capito? Quindi faccio prima a farla da
Ma
sola.
qual è quella
Non
del
so con quale
Parlamento
coraggio tu hai
Europeo
scelto di
Giovani?
fare questa cosa.
È
Sì,
quella del
quello per il
Parlamento
Parlamento
Europeo Giovani, vero?
Poi vabbè, ho detto facciamola a pezzi.
Sì, amo.
Così
Comunque
poi
questa è una cosa
ricostruire tutta io.
che ci vuole 2 mesi, in 5 giorni. Bella idea, amo.
Sì, no, ma infatti.
Vabbè, roba normale. Ma
Ma te cosa
alla
fai?
fine un cazzo. No, scherzo, per cosa farò?
Ah no, te fai
Però
l'AIM, te fai l'AIM, la frase finale.
sì, quello che in questo momento non mi ricordo più manco chi io sia, quindi.
Sì, devi fare quello, ma tanto lo devi fare all'ultimo. Quindi vabbè.
Oh. No, a parte che fare le cose all'ultimo per noi del classico è tipo le basi per fare le cose bene. Cioè, tipo,
Certo.
uno
Io faccio
studia la
sempre
roba bene tutto il giorno prima, poi
l'altro
arriva lì.
giorno
Ale.
ho studiato 215 pagine di storia il giorno prima dell'interrogazione. Mi chiedete come ho fatto. Cioè, proprio è stata una roba che mi sono svegliata alle 5 del mattino e sono andata a letto alle 5 del mattino il giorno dopo. Alessandra Esili, ma cosa scrivi sul gruppo?
Perché la professoressa ha detto mandatemi la mozione, io scrivo.
Ah, sì.
Comunque te,
Io? Ce l'hai con me, eh? Si è bloccata Nicole.
io, che ho fatto?
Ho detto comunque te e ti sei fermato.
Io sono molto sveglia, grazie. Oddio, il
Vedi.
giusto.
In tutto questo ci stanno registrando, mi piace molto.
Vabbè, tanto io ormai non ho più la dignità da tempo.
Il classico fa queste cose.
Mhm.
Ma quindi le by clausis non le vuole fare nessuno. Alessandra, vieni a fare il Parlamento europeo.
Ma te sei tutta scema, cioè mi piacerebbe molto, ma te sei tutta scema.
Dai, ti prego, non ce la faccio a farlo da sola.
Ma di cosa state preparando?
Praticamente dobbiamo preparare questa specie di tesi da mandare a quelli del Parlamento e se dicono che l'abbiamo fatta bene, allora possiamo andare o a Roma o da qualche altra parte a fare debate con altri gruppi.
Cioè, il discorso di poi fare debate è bello, scrivere una tesi prima.
Sì, su una motion che si chiama resolution, cioè praticamente la motion è tipo come il Parlamento europeo può risolvere il fatto che i giovani si spostano dalle loro case che magari sono in un ambiente rurale, nelle campagne, eccetera, e si spostano nel centro urbano per gli studi, il lavoro, eccetera.
Metti
Come
l'internet negli ambienti rurali. No, sul serio. Fai la roba online. Così ti rimangono tutti a zappare la terra e a fare l'università online.
ci
Infatti
sta,
quello
sai
sarebbe la mia vita.
il problema è che devo fare tipo 45 pagine, quindi quella sarebbe
Vabbè,
una
fai un po' di
riga.
parafrasi.
Vabbè, dai, ci sta. Io poi avevo fatto investire per creare nuovi posti di lavoro locali, aiutare le piccole imprese e sfavorire le multinazionali.
Mi piace.
Creare un piano d'azione diverso da città a città che si basi sui bisogni della città e della cittadinanza.
Mhm.
Fondi dello Stato che vanno all'artigianato locale.
Adesso scopriremo che i nostri fellow debaters, anche loro fanno il Parlamento europeo e ti stanno rubando tutte le idee.
No,
Ma
guarda,
sei zitta, Alessandro.
guarda, tutto il pomeriggio,
Ma
Amo,
tutto
stai
questo con
zitta.
la scuola riesci comunque a farla, cioè, perché io a malapena respiro solo con la scuola.
Bella scuola.
Hai ragione, mi scusi.
No, cos'è?
Allora, voi
E deve
ragazze
essere l'internet
dovete...
che non funziona bene.
No, praticamente
Voi non avete idea. Arrivate in quinta, siete già dei
Arrivaccia alla quinta.
sopravvissuti. Siete già dei sopravvissuti. Guarda me come sono tranquilla. È una skill, eh? No, te scherzi.
comunque,
Ma è useful
allora, io ho
questa skill.
avuto interrogazioni la scorsa settimana, quindi questa settimana non ho niente.
Io mi sono fatta 3 giorni di fila di un compito e un'interrogazione tutti i giorni, cioè,
Nello stessa mattina?
sì,
Anch'io.
è tremendo. Novembre è da spararsi, perché poi dici, vabbè, poi migliora, non migliora, quindi...
No, vabbè, migliora, dai, questa settimana meglio per me. Questa settimana non ci sono metà prof, non si sa perché. Poi,
Settimana prossima mi portano in gita un giorno a Firenze e poi il giorno dopo la versione di greco.
sono anch'io.
Ma il 3?
No, il 5 ci vado. Vabbè.
Noi andiamo con la D, penso. Non so neanche chi c'è in terza D.
Agnese strano.
So che c'è Sara, però poi per il resto.
Sì, vabbè. Qualcuno che sta-
Allora, apriamo il giro di scommesse. Tra quante ore tornano i giudici?
Ma circa 4 ore.
Appropriato.
L'altra volta quant'è che si aspettarono?
Almeno una mezz'oretta, forse.
Una mezz'oretta una scippa. Si aspettarono un'ora.
No.
Me lo ricordo.
Dicevi, Alessia?
Quando lo fa? L'albero, quando lo fate?
L'8, sono tradizionalista.
Sì, Nicole.
Oh, ho sentito una scippa.
Quando lo fai l'albero?
Se l'albero, ma io lo faccio tipo, no, non l'8, un altro giorno, non mi ricordo che giorno,
Il
dipende da come
23.
mi gira, anche a me, no, il 23 no, è troppo tardi, lo faccio tipo una settimana prima di Natale, del 23.
No, io
A parte, no, aspetta, però io poi recupero, perché cosa faccio? Lo
Lo
faccio
tiene fino ad
giù.
aprile.
Esatto. Vedi che capisci? Poi c'è gente poi ci sono gli americani che cominciano direttamente e fanno che lo tengono a novembre, da novembre a maggio. Io dico, ma cosa lo devi a fare l'albero di Natale? Ma tienilo, è lì. A questo punto è diventato parte della casa.
Ma chi te l'ha detto? Gli americani lo tengono tutto l'anno.
Queste
guarda.
informazioni
No, vabbè.
parziali che si ottengono tramite il dibattito non mi piacciono.
No, infatti, ti fa
No,
male il
vabbè.
dibattito.
No, allora, a parte di scherzi, no. Cioè, loro non lo tengono una vita come da noi, però questi stronzi hanno le vacanze di Natale, hanno mesi di vacanze di Natale questi. Cominciano a metà novembre a averci le vacanze di Natale e
Ma
finiscono
perché il
quando
winter
rientriamo
break?
noi.
Perché penso faccia molto più freddo da loro, sai.
Che
Hanno meno
culo.
vacanze estive, però. Non lo so.
Hanno meno vacanze estive.
Comunque alla fine l'Italia tipo è uno dei paesi che fa meno scuola in totale, cioè...
No, è anche quello che fa più scuola in totale, amo.
Dici?
Non so come sia possibile, però è così. Perché utilizzano quei giornini strategici, tipo i ponti.
Se facciamo meno scuola non mi sorprenderebbe.
No, e invece è il contrario. Cioè
Te l'ho detto.
l'Italia e la Danimarca hanno uno dei numeri più alti in Europa.
Ah,
A
godo.
parte che questa roba è l'AI di Google, quindi probabilmente se l'ha inventato, però...
Allora, io la vedo come... Non so se qualcuno ha mai visto Asbin Hotel, io la vedo così. Trust us. Fidati di
No,
lui e andrà tutto bene.
aspetta. La media europea, questo invece è... Cos'è? Geopop, quindi loro sono sicuramente informatissimi. La media europea è di 180 giorni l'anno e noi in Italia ne facciamo 200, quindi...
Il Mugito non sarebbe piacere.
Perché non gli piace Geopop? Come fa a non piacergli Geopop?
A me non gli piace Geopop.
Aspetta, prima seguimi.
L'IA sicuramente no.
Vabbè, ma
Cioè,
quello sono anche d'accordo, per le informazioni no.
Sì, no, infatti, l'IA è solo per riformulare le cose, perché se gli devi dare un'informazione nuova, certo.
Tipo
E
la mia
invece
vita.
per Geopop a me piace.
Funziona, cioè ci sono delle informazioni sopra. Io penso che forse l'ho usato per delle robe anche per preparare la mozione che stiamo preparando ora. Ma tipo della roba... quella dei novel food.
No, io li ho usati al posto dell'EFSA.
Sì, vabbè, sì.
Oddio.
Ma chiaramente
Oddio,
anch'io
novel food.
principalmente su quello lì, però anche...
Raga, io sono onesta. I novel food va benissimo così, cioè dammi un panino, lo ficco in bocca alla prima persona che vedo, se non schiatta entro 5 ore è mangiabile.
Ma più che altro, cioè, secondo me non ha senso come motion, cioè, è come dire, ma preferiresti fare, cioè, sarebbe meglio che i cittadini pagassero 500 euro di tasse o 8.400? Cioè, non ha molto senso, cioè, perché tu dovresti ritestare un'altra volta dei cibi che sono già sicuri? Che poi con un test non è che provide la sicurezza del prodotto, cioè...
È vero. Perché come abbiamo visto, l'EFSA si occupa di altre cose.
Esatto. Ho passato il pomeriggio a fare una cosa. Comunque io forse dovrei fare altro della mia vita. Ora mi trovo un hobby.
Pure un'altra roba ti vuoi mettere a fare. Ma dormire
Alessia,
lo fai
Alessia,
ogni tanto?
Alessia, parliamone. Puoi ancora tornare sana.
Ma io
Boia.
faccio... Secondo me dovrei trovare un hobby al di fuori della scuola, tipo, non lo so, cucinare. Non so.
Amore, ti tieni troppo impegnata nella tua vita. devi imparare anche a accettare la lentezza, tipo Bradipo, presente, che lui è lì tranquillo, si prende il suo tempo, ha la gioia dei piccoli momenti, di prendersi il tuo tempo, sa.
Ma poi tra l'altro tu, scusa, fai la scuola, studi la roba per il biomedico, fai la roba per prepararti all'università, fai il dibattito, fai il Parlamento europeo, vai in palestra, gestisci un account pubblico. Che cosa vuoi fare di più? Cioè, il Presidente della Repubblica, così, nel tempo libero.
Stare a Danimarca non mi dispiacerebbe.
Beh, guarda,
Mi piace la Danimarca.
Allora, io sarei per
non fanno
diventare
tanta
tipo
scuola
tutte e
pure
tre,
lì.
tipo facciamo un attentato e diventiamo noi tre le regine del mondo, che con le nostre tattiche di debating non ci supera nessuno.
Perché manipoliamo le informazioni. La
Certo.
Candio minaccia sempre di invadere il Vaticano quando non sappiamo le cose. Così. Allora, io vi dico che ho controllato l'orologio tipo un quarto d'ora fa e invece sono passati 3 minuti. Ragazzi, non mi sta passando più sta attesa.
No, io giuro, io devo andare in bagno. Devo andare in bagno,
Vai.
devo andare a letto.
Basta che
Non ho
non porti il
voglia.
telefono, poi puoi andare.
Vabbè, in teoria lo posso pure portare con la telecamera e il microfono spento.
Se proprio ci tieni.
Vado a mangiare, mi fa pure il responso, si può fare.
No, che hai detto Ale?
Cioè, io posso tipo andarmene adesso.
Sì, cioè dovresti tipo ascoltare il responso, anche perché la professoressa ha detto che dobbiamo farci dare un feedback, però sì. Penso che tu ora come ora possa appartarti un attimo, mangiare qualcosina, poi quando tornano ti si manda un messaggio, ti riaccendi tutto e ascolti.
Di pratica, rimarrò qui.
Va bene.
Alessandra, te lo ricordi il feedback dell'altra volta? Me lo ricorderò per sempre, praticamente avete fatto cagare, però ci avete
No, non
provato.
è vero, hanno detto avete avuto delle buone idee più o meno. Sì, non era molto, però no, alcune cose ci hanno detto che sono andate bene, alcune.
Te ne ricordi una?
Tipo, gli unici complimenti che ci hanno fatto erano complimenti in generale. Però, no, cioè, non ci hanno neanche insultato spudoratamente. quindi.
Vabbè, come vedi un bambino appena nato, dici, è
Che
simpatico.
bello.
No, ma una volta disse al bimbetto di una sua conoscente, non che era bello, perché dice era brutto, dice io disse che era simpatico.
Sai, delle
Al bimbo,
conversazioni.
al bimbo neonato simpatico, piccolo così, nato la sera prima.
Comunque noi siamo qua da 3 ore, io, cioè, è rientrato qualcuno? No.
Sento mia mamma mi porti qualcosa, però dopo i tortellini.
Comodo! Qua davanti a...
No, guarda, l'ideale. Perché non ci avevo pensato prima.
Vabbè.
No, ma io vorrei anche dormire. Io vorrei anche dormire stanotte.
No.
Io sono andare a letto alle 9:30, cioè va bene che domani entro alle 9, però...
Beata te che riesci ad andare a letto presto. Io ci provo tutte le sere, ma poi mi distraggo e mi addormento a mezzanotte. Probabilmente è per questo che sono esaurita, perché non dormo nulla. Quindi.
Tengo il telefono un'ora prima di addormentarmi e un'ora quando mi sveglio. Infatti io tipo dalle 6:30 fino alle 7:30 non riesco a fare. E nemmeno dalle 8:30 in poi.
Scusami, a che ora ti svegli tu la mattina?
Alle 6:30.
Madonna, ma per via di tragitto o perché devi fare la tua routine?
Abito letteralmente a 10 minuti in bicicletta dalla scuola.
Quanto ti... No, è tutta stima, è tutta invidia, perché wow, però...
No, perché mi faccio la colazione, poi così vado con calma.
Io mi sveglio alle 7:20.
Come stai?
E praticamente io mi sveglio, corro di sotto dal letto, mangio velocissimo e mi vesto, mi lavo i denti, corro fuori dalla porta. Fine della mia beauty routine.
La mattina mi sveglio, faccio stretching, bicchiere d'acqua, faccio skincare, poi mi preparo il porridge. Mangio il porridge che ogni giorno mi ci metto qualcosa di diverso con una tazza differente. Poi mi preparo il tè o un infuso e poi mi prendo i miei integratori e poi con calma. E poi aspetta, in tutto ciò io ho lo zaino, i vestiti, li preparo tutti la sera prima.
Posso farti un altarino per venerarti perché...
Io sono proprio, ma mi vede presente i robottini la mattina. Io sono un robot.
Io, tipo, il primo bicchiere d'acqua che bevo penso sia a pranzo. Cioè, io la mattina dritta per la mia strada.
Allora non sono l'unica, allora non sono un alieno. Cioè, io ti giuro, la mattina io mi sveglio. A parte che io ne approfitto e chiudo la finestra perché vede qua sto buio di fuori mi fa paura.
Viva
Però c'è tipo...
l'idratazione, ragazzi.
E a scuola
Esatto.
braccia. Anche a me.
Complimenti. È tornato.
One moment. Okay.